Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to go ahead and begin making the bracket for our quick release steering wheel that we just installed on the M45 in the last video. And the reason that we're doing this is because I lost my controls when I went ahead and installed the quick release steering wheel, because it doesn't have, those options like the original wheel has. And I want to go ahead and retain those and keep them so I can continue to use those controls, because after driving for a week with my new quick release steering wheel, I noticed that I do use those buttons actually quite more often than I thought, and I wanted to go ahead and keep those. So I picked up a metal sheet, and we're gonna go ahead and make the bracket out of this metal sheet. So it should be pretty easy to cut, and it shouldn't take very long to be able to do this, as long as we can make the measurements and everything correctly the first time to be able to cut this and place it on the car. But let's go ahead and look at what we picked up. So this right here is the sheet that we picked up from Amazon. It's 3 millimeters, so it's thick. And the reason that you want it to be thick is because the wires that go to the controls are pretty thick as well, so you don't want to pinch them when you go ahead and install this. So I did do a little bit of research before actually doing this, what needs to be done. I've seen a few people that reroute the wires like on the outside, but it honestly looks really bad and it's sticking out and looks horrible, and I don't want to do that. So I really want to keep it a very simple, clean look. So far what I've done is I've traced out this bracket right here that comes with your NRG kit, which is for the ground for your horn. And I placed it right on the sheet, traced it out, and we're going to begin cutting technically around this area. Now I will have to leave some space towards the bottom, and I'm most likely going to make a bracket going like this all the way around and going back up. And the reason that we want to do that is because we want to ensure that our controls have somewhere to mount to on the bracket. Now, for the steering wheel, if we could imagine it sitting like this and your steering wheel is straight, right there you can see that we would have the controls sitting somewhere in this area right here. So that's what we want to do when it comes to the bracket, extending it out, making sure that we have like enough clearance for it to attach to and bolt it up in that area. The bolts are pretty far apart, as you can see. There's one right there, one up here, so we have to do a lot of measuring before we begin cutting a bunch of pieces into this to ensure we have clearance. So this sheet right here was only 14 bucks. Got it on Amazon, so you guys can purchase it if you want to as well and do this. And we're going to use a Dremel to go ahead and cut everything else out to ensure it looks nice and clean. After cutting this out, I will have to go ahead and actually take my steering wheel off the portion that goes on the bottom where it attaches to ensure I can get good measurement on the holes and where they sit at, because these right here, as you can see, there's a lot of them, and then you don't need to make this many holes. You just need to make I think it's like 6 holes that goes on each side in order for it to mount up. And I don't want to make these holes right here. It's going to take a lot of time, and I'm sure they use some type of machine to be able to make something like this. So we're only going to make the small holes that are going to go directly on the steering wheel. But yeah, let's go ahead and make those lines, see how much we need to go ahead and cut out, and then we'll go from there and start mounting it up to see how it looks. I just finished cutting off the bracket. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. To use this as my template, my wheel is straight right now, and as you can see, it lines up just like that with the NRG on the top. So we're going to go ahead and remove this whole thing, put it on our bracket, trace it out with the holes. Now we can go ahead and begin drilling those out so we can see how everything's going to fit and where everything's going to be located at. It did take me a while to cut everything out, but in the end, it came out decent. We still got to clean it up with like a Dremel and stuff. So here's the bracket that we went ahead and cut out. Right now it's it's uneven. Like, I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but the right side is like a little bit further down than the left side. But that doesn't matter. I purposefully left a lot more material on here so I can go ahead and ensure that I have enough to be able to mount everything up. But for the top part, we're good. Right there you can see that it's going to go something like that. We just got to make sure that it's completely straight. That way when we mount it on, it's not like, to the side. But my goal is to go ahead and ensure that I go ahead and mark out these holes, cut it out. Then we got to cut this area out right here as well. And after that, then I'm going to go ahead and place it on the car. Then I'll mark my holes for the controls that were on the wheel. Now, another thing that we got to do is, because the wires are going to go through this hole, I have to make sure that I create a gap somewhere in this area, like right about there, so the wires can feed through, which is why you need the 3mm metal pieces, because you want to have enough space so it doesn't pinch the wires together. So that's what we got to do. That's why I got to figure how I'm going to do everything on here to make sure it's, you know, good, has enough space. So it's a lot of like patience, honestly, and measuring to make sure everything is good, by using my little screwdriver and then hitting with the hammer at the top to puncture those. And then I'm going to use like a really small drill bit in order to ensure it goes through, because I don't want it to, you know, go all over the place and mess it up. So I have a few drill bits right here to try to get to the appropriate size. We're going to try to make it exactly the same size as the existing one. That way it doesn't wobble or move around. I mean, it shouldn't either way once you tighten it down, but... So far so good. Let's go to up another size. Here's how the bracket is looking so far with everything placed in there. One of my bolts was a little too short, but I'm just going to cut this access right here. You see there's a little bit too much right there. And then these are going to go like right there. Well, this one goes on this side. It goes going to go right there. And then when you put the wheel on, it goes like that. So I'm thinking about putting this somewhere right there. So I just need to make my markings where I want the holes at. That way we can make sure it looks straight. And it's going to mount like right here. So this I don't need at all. So I just got to cut all this off. But I can do that after I go ahead and actually make my hole, so I don't cut the hole. And then as for the wires, we just got to make a hole right here going out so it can extend out and then connect, you know, to this thing right here. So it still has the wires connected and it doesn't pinch them. All right, so I got the hub removed now. We're going to go ahead and install this. So you have to get the connection through all the holes, because you can't do it with the hub on there. You have to remove it because there's not enough space to be able to push this in. Once you push it in, then everything should, you know, work. So right now what we have to do is we're going to go ahead and put the connections through these holes right here. So we have the ground and then the bracket that we made. And then we're going to go ahead and push this in there as well. So we have our connections to the airbag there. And honestly, that should really be it. Everything else is going to be connected once it's all put together. So it's going to be hard to do with one hand, but get all these connections into those holes. That way it can lead out. All right, so this is how it's going to look. Now we just got to mount this up there. And then the connection to the horn, I actually made the, what is it called? This right here. I made this on this end a little bit wider, that way it could fit in, so I don't have to put a new like connection on there. So I just grabbed a screwdriver, shoved it in right in there, spread it out, and now this fits on there with no problem, so that can work. And then the ground, which is going to be this one right here, this black one, is going to go to this right here. All right, so let's go ahead and put it all up and then connect everything. All right, guys, so today is the next day, and here is technically the final result of how this is going to look. The only thing that is left to really do is add some washers to the back of this so it's not loose, because what's happening is the connection to the control units right here kind of like extends out. So when you put the bolts on there, it leaves it loose and you're squishing the wire in the back. So I didn't over tighten it. I just left it like a little bit loose so I could just have it on there. This one, I lost the bolt that goes right there, so I need to find that. Then we can install this one here, and that should be it when it comes to the control units. The plate, I was going to paint it black, but it doesn't look bad like this either, so I'm just going to leave it. and then I could make like some holes or something to give it an extra touch or a design to it. But for the most part, you know, that's how it sits. I am missing one Allen bolt right here that it didn't come with my kit actually when I purchased it. They had provided like a shorter one, so the existing ones that already come on here are perfect. You don't need to buy longer ones, they work. I need one more because it didn't come with the kit. That's pretty much it. The last thing that's left to do is mess with the wiring right here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one right here, and then we're gonna attach this so it can connect to the horn. Now the horn, which I can't find now, here it is. The horn looks like this. So as you can see, it needs that connection, which is an open side. Usually they refer to them as female connection because it's open. We'll go to the male connection right here. Same thing with this one. As you can see right now, it's a male connection that would go to another male connection, so that's not going to work. I'm going to use these right here, wire cutters, to go ahead and cut that right there, connect it to this one over here, and then we should be good. It's a pretty simple process. Just to give you guys an idea of how to do this, you're going to expose the wire on one of the ends, got a connection like this. I have a bunch of these laying around because I work on air suspension, so a lot of fittings are like left over. And then you can get this from like AutoZone or O'Reilly's. They have a pack there that you can purchase. And then you will place this other end right in there. Smash them together. As you can see, the bottom one, I already smashed it. I just need to smash this. And then you can either use a heat gun or you can also use a lighter to go ahead and heat up this area. It'll shrink on its own. And then you're done. That's all you really got to do. And then now you got another connection for the other side. I have this little torch thing right here I'm going to use to melt this wire. And it's going to be hard to do with one hand, but got to do it for the video. There you go. Just like that. Same thing with this other side. And boom. All good. Obviously this is a little bit too much heat. You can use a lighter, but that's what I had. So let's go ahead and test it out now. Black one is going to go on the outer one, and the yellow one's going to go in the middle one. And there you go, just like that. Let's go ahead and actually test it out. Just in case you don't know like how it works, is once you put your steering wheel on, it makes connection with those right there to that, and that's how it gets power. All right, let's see. Moment of truth. Damn, boy. Ah, sick. All right, cool. It's funny because in the other video I had said, you know, I haven't used my horn in, I would say, like a while. And then the other day when I was driving, this guy, or I don't even know if it was a guy, this car, they tried to get in my lane and they didn't see that I was there, and at that time I needed my horn to go ahead and beep at them, and of course I didn't have it. So, you know, make sure you guys fix this if you guys want it. You know, a horn can actually save a life, if I'm being honest with you, because if somebody's not paying attention, you need to honk at them. You know, it could be a moment of truth between, you know, getting into an accident and or something else happening. Alright, so I went ahead and took the controls off to try to add those spacers right here, and to kind of show you guys a little bit like why it's not working how I want it to. It's not sitting flush. It's because this wire here sticks out quite a bit, so when you try to attach it right there, it's smashing it, leaving it loose. So instead of, you know, continue to tighten the bolt and squishing the wires, add some spacers, that way it can sit up a little bit more so it's sturdy and it doesn't smash the wire at the same time. And while I have the controls off, I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of the edges right here. As you can see, this one looks a whole lot better, but it's not perfect. And then I need to make another hole a little bit lower right here, because this one actually sits a little bit lower as well, so it's not mounting properly. And then I had made this one because the same thing, I had made the holes a little bit too high, and then I had to make it a little bit lower. So we'll go ahead and clean it up a little bit more, and then once I have everything done, I'll pick it back up. Alrighty guys, there you go. I added some spaces right there that I picked up from Ace Hardware. Install them on the sides, and now these things are sturdy. not moving anymore. You can see the gap right there in order to ensure we don't pinch the wires. And I picked up another bolt for this right here so we can have all of them there. Alright, let's go ahead and grab the steering wheel, throw this back on. We got the steering wheel right here. Let's go ahead and throw it on. And there you go. Let's go ahead and turn the car. Let's turn it a few times. Alright, cool. Got good clearance, not hitting nothing. And it looks so good. It looks so sick. No play, no movement. Looks pretty dead center to me. And then all you see is those wires right there. But honestly, looks really clean, having the wires just like, you know, going right there instead of having it wrapped all around. And then this is what I mean right here about the switches. So as you can see, like now I can reach it, but if I didn't have that extension, see how far I would have to reach back out to get it. So it makes a huge difference if I'm being honest with you. And this one, like, you won't use it that much, you know, only if it's like raining or something, but this one for sure, even just getting one makes a huge difference. It looks so sick. I wish this wasn't all messed up. See how this one's like all clean and it still has the litters on there and everything. I could get one from a junkyard. It was pretty easy to remove, just 2 bolts from the back, just like you guys saw right now when I went ahead and plugged everything back in. It's that simple. And now we keep all of our control, so I'm really happy about that as well, as you can see. Hell yeah. Probably maybe the only M45, M35, you know, that has the steering wheel along with the controls still on the car. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Like I said, the sheet that I picked up from Amazon was only 14 bucks. And then these right here were like 20. I'll link everything down below so you guys can go ahead and pick it up if you guys are interested. For this, like I said, you just have to shave down the inside right here on the edges, and then it'll fit pretty good. And the reason I went with like the purplish blue is because I have purple right here with like a little bit of a hint of blue. Same thing on the gauges back there. You can see there's like a blue line with purple. Same thing right here. So it just looks really nice and clean. The reason why I replaced the steering wheel is because my OEM one was completely trashed, had a bunch of rips everywhere, and I just wanted something different, and I've always wanted a quick release. So I'm really happy I went with this and I was able to retain the features that the car comes with. And horn still works. Alright, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.